Nobody warns you what a black hole actually does to time until you're already falling into one. So let's just do it. Let's fall in together, all the way to the center. In the next 12 minutes, you'll learn 4 things that sound completely impossible. How a black hole bends light until your own eyes lie to you. How it slows time until years pass in a single heartbeat. How it stretches you like spaghetti. And how, at the very center, physics itself simply gives up. Ready? Strap in. From far away, a black hole isn't the cosmic vacuum cleaner from the movies, sucking everything in. That's the single biggest myth about them. Really, it's just gravity. The same gravity holding you in your chair right now, only crushed into an unbelievably tiny space. In fact, swap our sun for a black hole of the exact same mass, and Earth wouldn't even notice. It would keep circling in the same lazy orbit. So at a safe distance, nothing grabs you. Seriously, if the sun turned into a black hole tonight, we would not get sucked in. It would go dark and freezing, but Earth would keep orbiting exactly as it does today. Gravity only cares about mass and distance, not about how terrifying something looks. But every black hole hides one invisible line, the event horizon. Cross it, and to get back out you'd have to travel faster than light. And nothing travels faster than light. So the horizon isn't a wall you smash into, it's a one-way door. You won't feel it, you won't see it, but the instant you pass it, the entire future universe is behind you. Picture a waterfall made of space itself, pouring inward. Far from the edge, you can still paddle against the current. But past the point of no return, space pours in faster than you can swim out. So every stroke, in every direction, only carries you deeper. How big is that door? It depends on the mass. Squeeze our whole sun into a black hole, and its horizon would be just 6 kilometers across, the size of a city. Squeeze the Earth, and it would be smaller than a marble. That's how insanely concentrated this gravity is, so concentrated that it bends the very space light travels through, until every direction you could point curves back inward. There's just no road out anymore. To put that in perspective, our sun is normally over 1 million kilometers wide. Crush all of it down to the size of a single city, and that is the density we're talking about. 1 teaspoon of the stuff would outweigh a whole mountain range. But where did this thing even come from? It's the corpse of a star far bigger than our sun. For its whole life, a giant star is a war. Gravity crushing inward, nuclear fire pushing outward. They tie for millions of years, until the fuel finally runs out. Then gravity wins, and the core collapses in less than a second. The outer layers blast off in a supernova, briefly outshining an entire galaxy, and what's left caves in so hard that not even light can climb back out. It takes a star at least 8 times heavier than our sun to make one. Anything smaller just fizzles out quietly. And to grasp how violent that final collapse is, the core implodes at nearly a quarter of the speed of light, and the supernova it triggers can, for a few weeks, outshine every other star in its galaxy combined. And they don't all look the same. Black holes come in wildly different sizes. The small ones, from dead stars, are only a few times the mass of our sun. But at the center of almost every galaxy sits a supermassive one, millions to billions of suns heavy. The one at the heart of our own Milky Way is about 4 million suns, and honestly, that's the calm one. Here's the weird part. We barely find any in between, the medium ones. It's like a universe full of kittens and tigers, but almost no house cats, and that gap is one of the hottest mysteries in astronomy right now. To picture the range, if a stellar black hole were the size of a marble, a supermassive one would be wider than a planet. We've spotted a handful of oddballs that might be those missing middleweights, but they are maddeningly rare, which is why astronomers light up every time a new candidate turns up. Okay, back to the fall. You're picking up serious speed now, and here's where your own eyes start to betray you. The black hole bends light around itself like a giant lens. The stars behind it wrap around the edges, and the whole sky smears into a glowing ring. You might even see the back of your own ship, because light loops all the way around and comes right back to your eyes. Up, down, behind, they stop meaning what you think. Einstein predicted this exact bending a century ago, and today telescopes photograph it for real. There's even a special radius, the photon sphere, where light itself gets trapped, orbiting the black hole forever like moths around a lamp. And here's the truly disorienting part. As you fall, The entire outside universe appears to shrink into a single bright circle directly above you, smaller and bluer by the second, while everything around it turns pitch black. You're not looking around anymore. You're looking up a narrowing tunnel of light. But before you cross, look at what's falling in with you. Gas and dust pile up into a spinning accretion disk, rubbing against itself so hard it heats to millions of degrees. So the black hole glows, and those disks are the single brightest objects in the entire universe. We call them quasars, and some outshine a whole galaxy of 100 billion stars. A few even fire twin jets of superheated matter thousands of light years into space, like cosmic lighthouses. Enjoy the view, because it's the last normal thing you will ever see. The disk around the black hole in galaxy M87, the first one humanity ever photographed, launches a jet of plasma so straight and so long it's visible clear across the cosmos, all of it powered by an engine of pure gravity. You cross the event horizon now. Quick, did you feel anything? Nothing. And that's the most disturbing part of this whole trip. For a big enough black hole, passing the point of no return feels completely ordinary. No bump, no flash, no alarm. You could already be inside one and never know it. But to your friends watching from outside, you'd appear to freeze right at the edge and slowly fade, forever. Hold on to that. It matters in a minute. And that freezing isn't just an illusion for them. The light you send back gets stretched and dimmed, redder and redder, until it fades to nothing at all. But from your seat, you sail straight through, no drama, no warning. Now, gravity doesn't pull on all of you equally. Your feet are closer to the center than your head, so they get pulled harder. Near a small black hole, millions of times harder. You don't get crushed into a ball, you get stretched, thinner and thinner, into a single strand of atoms. Physicists literally named it spaghettification. The pull would rip you apart long before the center, and then rip each atom apart too. But here's the twist that saves you. The bigger the black hole, the gentler the stretch. Remember that, it literally decides whether you live. Around one with the mass of a mountain, the difference in pull between your head and your feet is millions of gravities. Around one 1,000,000,000 times heavier, it's gentler than standing on Earth. Same force, wildly different feel, and it all comes down to size. Remember the promise I made about time? As you fall, time itself slows down for you compared to the rest of the universe. The closer you get to the horizon, the slower your clock ticks against theirs. Fall deep enough, and 1 minute for you could be 100 years out there. Everyone you ever knew would be long gone, ancient history. If that sounds familiar, it's the real physics behind the movie Interstellar, 1 hour near the black hole, 7 years back home. And it isn't just black holes. Your phone's GPS already corrects for a tiny version of this every second, or your maps would drift miles off by lunchtime. This isn't a quirk of clocks or biology. It's time itself, running at different speeds in different places. Two twins, one who falls close and climbs back out, would meet again. Decades apart, one barely older, the other gray. But how do we know any of this? Nobody's fallen in and reported back. So here's the proof. In 2015, we caught two black holes 1,000,000,000 light years away crashing together by feeling the ripple it sent through space itself. That gravitational wave stretched our detectors by less than the width of a proton, and we still measured it. Turn that ripple into sound, and it's a tiny rising chirp, the softest little whoop you've ever heard. Then in 2019, we took the first real photo of a black hole, that glowing ring around a shadow, and it matched the math perfectly. In 2022, we even photographed the giant one at the center of our own galaxy. This is real. It took a machine with arms 4 kilometers long, sensitive enough to feel a ripple thousands of times smaller than a proton, and it earned the Nobel Prize. We didn't just believe black holes were out there. We finally heard 2 of them collide. So you keep falling toward the very center, the singularity. And honestly, this is where we run clean out of answers. Our best theory says all the mass collapses to a single point of infinite density. But infinite is math's way of screaming, you broke me, I quit. We need new physics we simply don't have yet. The center of a black hole is the actual edge of human knowledge, which, if you ask me, is kind of beautiful. And maybe the singularity isn't a point at all. Maybe quantum gravity smears it into something we simply can't picture yet. That's the real frontier, the one address in the whole universe where our best equations throw up their hands. And here's the twist nobody expects. Black holes aren't forever. They slowly leak energy and evaporate. Stephen Hawking proved it back in the 70s. They fade so unbelievably slowly that a big one takes longer than a number with 100 zeros, in years, to vanish, so long that the universe today is basically a newborn by comparison. But given enough time, even the black holes die, one by one, until the whole cosmos goes truly, permanently dark. And there's an even deeper riddle buried in that fading glow, the information paradox. Where does everything a black hole ever swallowed actually go once the black hole itself is gone? Some of the sharpest minds alive are still fighting over the answer. So, final question, small black hole or supermassive? Which one do you fall into? After the spaghetti thing, take the gentle giant. Around a monster like the one at our galaxy's core, you cross the horizon in one piece, no stretching, for a while. Around a small one, you're noodles before you even arrive. And how big can these giants get? The record holder, TON 618, is around 66 billion times the mass of our sun, so wide that light takes weeks just to cross it. Fall into a giant like that, and you could drift past the point of no return, still calmly reading a book, never once feeling the exact instant you crossed from our universe into whatever waits beyond. So the scariest sounding black holes are actually the safest to fall into. And that's the paradox you take home. Black holes aren't monsters that chase you down. They're just gravity, pushed to its absolute limit, where light bends, time slows, and physics itself gives up. One idea. Take gravity, the gentlest force there is, the thing that just makes an apple drop, and crank it all the way up to infinity. Space bends, light gets trapped, clocks crawl, and reality runs clean out of rules. If your eye's lying, your clock breaking, and physics quitting was worth 12 minutes. Subscribe, and next time, we'll fall in and ask what's waiting on the other side.